We love fighting games on this channel. Typically, we're known for certain franchises more than others, but one thing that is consistent is that the two of us just really enjoy the genre, and with that comes a lot of excitement for the upcoming Street Fighter 6. This has meant that over the time of the various betas and the current Street Fighter 6 demo, we've streamed it a fair bit, and by far the most common question we get is, "Hey, this game looks great, but I'm new to Street Fighter. I want to play Street Fighter 6, but I have no idea what character to play to start me off." And with that comes the topic of today's video. Thanks to Capcom UK, Mustard and myself were able to capture some pre-release footage of the final build of Street Fighter 6, and using said footage and our existing knowledge of the game, not to mention the game's very close release date, we thought this would be a great opportunity to help out you would-be newcomers to Street Fighter with some suggestions on who you might want to try out when you dive into Metro City this June. We'll be choosing a variety of characters based on their game plan to cater to as many of you as possible, so we hope that you enjoy these picks. Before we dive in, allow me to quickly state that all footage from this video is pre-release and subject to change. And while you're here, why not subscribe to the channel and stay up to date with our regular uploads and future content? We'd definitely appreciate it. Right off the bat, allow me to say that these characters are not in any particular order, but we are starting off with Marisa, because if there's one thing we've seen so far, it's that few people are immune to the appeal of playing a character that hits really, really hard. She's also absolutely massive and has a level 3 that punches you so hard you get sent across the literal entire screen, so there's definitely that. Marisa is a newcomer to the Street Fighter universe, but from what we've seen has immense damage output and scary special moves that you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of. And with how prominent armor will be early on due to the existence of drive impacts, having attacks that will break armor will help keep things going without constantly getting interrupted by your opponent. I don't want to speak too much on the technical aspect of these characters as we truly didn't know exactly how they'll all plan out, but Marisa seems like a good start for players looking for heavy-hitting attacks on a large character, armor answers both offensively and defensively, and even stance-like specials with built-in follow-ups. It's looking like you can play a relatively simple game with her, yet still obtain enough damage and threat to hold your own. From one newcomer to another, it's time to talk about Kimberly. We're a little biased here, as Mustard played a lot of her in the first two betas, but if you're a fan of high-octane, combo-heavy characters, she is absolutely worth a look. Based on the Bushin Ryu style that characters like Guy or Zeku have used before her, she sports a number of diverse special moves that let you be highly creative with how you approach each round. Her execution might seem a little overwhelming to a new player, but even with a little comfort in the game, you can start to really experiment and find what works for you. She has answers for a lot of what you'll encounter in the game, even at a base level. A teleport and running special with various follow-ups for getting in from range. A good reversal in EX Senpukyaku? Is that it?
Training stage.
A good reversal in EX Senpukyaku, and scary setups with her spray can that you can pair with her vast set of normals to create effective and highly damaging sequences. Kimberly has a bit of everything that you'll need to succeed in this game, and if the betas were anything to go by, has a good chance to be a worthwhile pick in the long run. She may seem harder to play to absolute beginner players, but if you're the kind of player that likes high-speed characters with flashy options and cool combos, Kimberly is going to be the one for you. This one's for all you command grab enthusiasts out there. Even if you are an extremely casual player, if you're asked to think of a fighting game grappler, chances are Zangief is the first character that comes to mind, and Street Fighter 6 is no different, with the Red Cyclone himself making another return appearance. The good thing about a character like Zangief is that you know exactly what you're getting into with him. He has the usual lariat, spinning pile driver, etc. But when you add drive mechanics onto him, he becomes something very new. The main reason we recommend him as a beginner character is that at a very basic level, he doesn't require much execution compared to how much damage he can dish out. The opponents just put themselves in an unsafe situation, EX Spinning Pile Driver. It hurts! This is also typically a strategy that is a highly universal thing. Just the idea of knowing that your opponent is blocking, so grabbing them is an option, versus knowing they expect the grab, so you hit them with a button or wait for a jump that you can anti-air. If you have any experience whatsoever with the grappler archetype in fighters, Zangief is probably someone that you will find extreme familiarity with. Now, this pick might surprise some of you, but hear us out. There is absolutely an audience for characters that play at a longer range than usual, be it with long normals or specials that cover certain ranges, and it is an archetype that we see more and more as fighting games continue to thrive. I expect you won't be hard-pressed to think of a character that fits it from the most recent 2D fighter that you played. Sometimes these characters can have a bit of a reputation for taking more time to learn than most, and obviously it is far too early to tell if that will be the case here. However, JP is a character that seems to cater to this long range, but has some sauce of his own as well. If you feel your strength as a player is in using special moves or long buttons in neutral to keep control of your opponent, JP will fit that. You won't be throwing your opponent around with huge combos, at least not at first, but there's definitely potential there. But you'll find damage adding up as you chip away at the enemy with individual hits, as JP isn't without interesting tools, featuring a number of options utilizing ranged phantoms that can hit in multiple directions, as well as summoning crystals that can strike as projectiles, or be teleported to. There are a lot of options here for both combos, range, and setup potential, and JP is a pretty scary character on paper. This playstyle is not for everyone, but that's the beauty of archetypes in fighting games. There is no true one-size-fits-all style, but if you're a fan of longer distance characters that do not necessarily have to be full screen at all times, JP could definitely be worth a look. In one of the most predictable endings in the entire history of our Countdown series, Ryu is our main suggestion for a character to play if you are totally new to Street Fighter. He's the poster child for a reason, and from a gameplay perspective, you honestly can't go wrong. He might not necessarily always be top tier or anything, but Ryu is Mr. Street Fighter and teaches you how to throw fireballs, Shoryuken as a reversal, or anti-air. Has useful buttons that work well with the drive mechanics, or just stand alone, and so much more. What's good about playing Ryu is that a lot of the skills you learn with him transfer well onto other characters, making him a perfect choice if you have absolutely no idea who you want to use, as you can see what parts of him you enjoy, and then look for other characters that offer something similar, perhaps a bit expanded. Or there's always the chance that you'll enjoy him so much that you'll never want to play anybody else. Regardless though, this is one you can get a head start with by simply downloading the Street Fighter 6 demo and trying him straight away. Right after this video if you wanted to. It's on the storefront. Go get it. And that's your lot for the Street Fighter 6 characters that we recommend you check out as a beginner. I'm sure some of these will be debated more than others, but we really wanted to cover a variety of styles to cater to as many newer players as possible. Overall though, we thank Capcom UK for letting us capture the footage used in this video, and we thank you all very much for watching. Best of luck with Street Fighter 6, and we will see you next time. Take care.